so good to know that we don't have to know. Because our mind, the way it works, wants to know. I want to know, and I want to know now. I want to know how it works, and I'm going to take it apart till I figure it out. But I might not be able to put it back together. There may be some spare parts left over. As my dad said, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't take it apart. Because I can't put it back together either. Okay. July, the Global Heart Vision. Loving kindness and forgiveness. How timely is that? The title for this morning is Forgiveness, a Way of Being. What untold grief of heart might be revealed by words of cheer and forgiveness? Be happy. To be happy, all you have to do is give up all your judgments. Just give them up. I'm done. It's something that we need to do constantly. It's not something you do once and go, okay, I'm going to do a blanket forgiveness, and I won't have to do my forgiveness work anymore ever again. I'm just going to do, I'm just going to do whatever happens in the future, forgiveness, and whatever happened in the past, forgiveness. It doesn't quite work that way. That can be a great practice, but we need to stay present with it and practice forgiveness all the time. Forgiveness is not simply an event, it's a paradigm. It's a way to be in the world. Can we forgive it forward? Can you forgive it forward? Can you say that, you know what, I may have some things that, I know that some things may come my way that I have to do some forgiveness work around. And I'm going to soften my heart a little bit right now about that. And rather than looking at the challenge, and this week with what happened in Dallas, we want to figure it out. We want to, not take sides, but sometimes we lean towards a way, just the way our thinking goes. And this is a wonderful prayer request. It's a wonderful reminder of how we can put our mind upon what we know the infinite is. Because that's really all we can do, is move our mind to knowing that God knows. Trying to figure it out just gets us into a judgment, you can feel your energy start to come up about it. And we need to let it go. And it's one of the most challenging. Yeah, just let it go. That's easy. Just let it go. It's a simple idea, but it is not as easy as it sounds. It can be, but we need to be in the consciousness of it. How often we condemn when we should forgive, and how often we censure when we might praise. To be all happy, all we have to do is give up our judgments. Try doing that for just 20 minutes. 20 minutes if you can give up your judgments. You're probably having a judgment right now about me asking you to give up your judgments. Like, well, you don't know my story. You don't know the trouble I've seen. And I may not. But I know that if we're in this plane of existence, we all have had something happen. Some zinger, some possibly unspeakable challenge that we have walked through. For whatever reason, human beings do things to themselves and to others that moves us into places that we would not consciously go ourselves. I can love unconditionally and still have conditions for my relationships. For example, I can love my drug-addicted nephew unconditionally, but I have conditions about whether or not he lives in my house or visits my family. But I can love him unconditionally. My father used to say this to me, I love you, I just don't like what you do sometimes. And that happens. So how can we love when the world appearance can be in such chaos, such unrest? This is the time to remind ourselves of what our spiritual practice is. Immediately go into prayer. Immediately go to that place that you know the infinite is. What is your belief? And I'm not going to tell you what that is. But each one of us has something that we believe. Some idea of what the infinite is to us personally, individually. And that is where our attention needs to be. The roots of unhappiness equals part of us believes that our happiness lies in external things. The ego in our mind says it's impossible to experience happiness for very long. Eventually it says things will fall apart, something is sure to go wrong, something or someone will intrude on our happiness, so we'd better be on the lookout for the person to blame. How quickly we look for someone to blame for our challenges, when we should be directing our consciousness not towards blame or judgment, but towards what we believe the infinite is. There's always that split second when we go into judgment about something. We see something, we have a reaction. And we can get to a place in this teaching where we can soften ourselves enough to look beyond the appearance and see God in everything that is. Now, once again, I'll say that that's the consciousness of a saint. To have that while somebody's in front of you, something on the TV is shaking us to our foundation. Something in our life it's got a hold of us. But we must look past the appearance and look for the God in it. We must look for the God within every situation. Like I said, take the consciousness of a saint, and I think we all live just under that consciousness. Just a little bit under that. But that's why we're here, right? We're here to feel and to experience and to know the truth for ourselves. This is the best prayer that we can give in any situation, is God is in the midst of it. Not judge it right or wrong, good or bad. You know, it may appear very good or very bad. And it's challenging not to put a label on it and judge it. But beyond that, when we have expressed ourselves in the immediate reaction to something happening to us, we need to go into our teaching as quickly as we can. Remember who we are in the situation. If I'm not adding love in some way to a situation, I'm part of the challenge of the situation. The sooner we can go to God, the sooner we can draw our attention to what we believe created everything that is, and know that there's a blessing in it, and call that out, and watch what happens. Like I said last week, this isn't to, I want to give a disclaimer, this isn't to say that whoever or whatever the situation is right or wrong, or that they get off scot-free for what happened. It's not about releasing them, it's about releasing you. Part of our real estate of our mind is attached to unforgiveness. It's part of the human experience. But it doesn't have to have the grip on us that keeps us from moving forward in love. It is to remind us that there is another state of consciousness to express. There is another way of thinking about this. And we must search within ourselves to find that equilibrium. Take another breath. Be still and know that the God of everything is within the challenge, is within the situation. It's easy to blame our parents, our step-parents, our family members, our relatives, our spouses, our ex-spouses, our past loves, our future loves, our authority figures, your physical body, our past, our present thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, acts of God, fate, luck, our higher power, the stars, or life itself. Accidents, offenses, and misdeeds of strangers. I don't know why, but this is part of life. But it doesn't have to be the part of life that brings us down in a way that allows us not to express love. It is a reminder to go to love. Speak only love. Be only love. Again, easy to say, but not always easy to demonstrate. Thank you. But there comes a time when we express ourselves and we find ourselves on our knees at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, why is this happening? And we can draw ourselves back in and say, I know that God knows. I know that God knows exactly what's happening, and I'm going to put my attention on that. Because in that, the answers will come. The creative genius of this universe knows so much more than we can conceive of in this particular plane of existence. So there's something called the 4 R's of forgiveness. Ask yourself to express the following. Number 1 is responsibility. Whose responsibility is this? Sometimes we take on stuff that isn't even ours. We get into it. We get mixed up in it because we want to throw a judgment out and be part of that and express ourselves. But whose responsibility is it really? Number 2 is remorse. Remorse is a very powerful activator. And when used in the right way, can move us into places of divinity. Remorse is the reminder to move in a different direction. Number 3 is repair. How can we treat ourselves with love? What makes you feel the best. Walking out in nature, being around people that love you, reading a good book, listening to a great piece of music, whatever it is for you, treat yourself to that. Love yourself like no one else can love you. For truly no one else can love you like you can love you. That is where all love and overflow is generated from. It's a self-love. It's not selfish, it's selfless. I love myself enough to have an overflow of love for the universe. And finally, don't repeat. Don't keep repeating it over and over again. You know, our mind wants to do that. And if we don't fill it up with something positive, it just goes on. It's like a computer stuck in a loop. We must fill in love. We must create love. You ever create love? Let's take just a second. I want you to just close your eyes. I want you to think about generating love within your body. Just think loving thoughts. And expand that just to 3 feet around your body. Think of love. 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 Let's fill this sanctuary with as much love as it can possibly hold. Can you feel it? Can you feel the love bursting at the seams here? So much love that it radiates outside of this building, outside of just this city, into the universe, expanding to include this entire globe with love. Love. And then sending it beyond the sun, beyond the planets, beyond this physical place of form, into the everything that is. And allowing this love to be the love that you are, that we are, that it is. All right, let's bring ourselves back into this room, into this moment, and open your eyes when it's comfortable. You can do that anytime you want. And I suggest that you do it a couple minutes a day. Just expand the love within your body and then slowly express it out to include as big as you can. It is that love that is the healing love of the universe. Because when you are thinking about that love, just think about your cars and your tires on your car, or checkbook, or your whatever. No, we thought about the generation of love. And when we think about that rather than whatever our challenge is, we are on the side of healing. We are on the side of the revealing of the truth. Once again, it takes the consciousness of a saint to do that constantly. But if we can just move there a little bit at a time, spend 3 minutes there, 5 minutes, 15 minutes in love, watch what happens in your life. Watch what is attracted into your life. For when we think thoughts of love, the law of attraction is always working. We are generating love, which creates a vacuum for love in our lives. And love must enter. Maybe not in the way you think, but love will fill your being and your life with itself. Not even in death can we stand in the way of producing miracles through forgiveness. Not even in death. there is something else going on here that we don't see. We don't have all the information. This is why we need to hold our judgment back rather than being so quick to label something one way or the other. And I'm not saying anything is a certain way or another. I'm saying it's that energy that separates us. The energy of love is inclusive. It is all knowing, all being. And it is through that generation of love that you are that creates the healing that we are to experience on this plane of existence. So in conclusion, to be happy, forgive it forward. All we have to do is give up our judgments. And so it is.